Thank you, everybody. Enjoying the Cesium conference. My name is Corey Johnson. I'm Director of Strategy for the Digital Construction Management team at WSB. We are, I'd say, a small to medium engineering firm in the Midwest. We have over 1,500 staff in 10 different states. What we've specialized in is everything you see here, but the group that I'm dealing with is digital construction management. We're helping small to medium-sized contractors, smaller engineering firms, and owners actually understand what a digital twin is. So we help aggregate all the files, put everything together, and with that, we're providing our expertise in areas where they don't have the expertise or they don't know what to do with it. We've partnered with some other companies. We're a partner of Bentley. We actually are a reseller of SYNCHRO. We're also a partner with 4M Analytics that you'll see, and we're trying to expand, and one of the reasons we're here today is a possible partnership with Headlight, as you'll see here. I want to give you a journey, the story of our journey. This is an actual project in process right now. 2 months ago, we were given this by an agency, and they said this was done by another design firm, and this is actually a very large interchange, and we were asked to do quantity takeoff for a system interchange. The engineering of record had horizontal and vertical alignments in an existing ground, but they did all the graphics in 2D, and they didn't have a model. Well, our process is, let's leverage a model for everything. So at WSB, everything we do is now model-based, using Bentley software and Bentley technology. It does many things for us. You've seen design review or constructability review, which I prefer to call it. We can go through and you can see things that normal people wouldn't miss or wouldn't catch. Also, you'll see all those little glyphs. If you haven't used SYNCHRO Control or Bentley Infrastructure Cloud, all of the locations for all of the issues. So geolocation is important. Finding it early in the office makes it easier to resolve. Now with that, we wanted to leverage our partnership with 4M Analytics. They allow you to draw a boundary around your area, and it pulls in all the GIS data. Fantastic data, very structured data, but it's flat in 2D. So we built a process to actually turn it into 3D. So what you're seeing there is the left side is what we get from them, fantastic data, but we put it over into 3D, and we've done this very, very quickly. We used AI to help us. We used Bentley tools. So we end up with a very realistic current conditions of the utilities. So now we're doing clash detection early. You'll see here the workspaces are so good. Ductile iron pipe is showing up as, sorry about that. Ductile iron pipe shows up as rusted pipe there. So we're getting good information, we're making it 3D, we're getting very accurate models. Now with this, it drives other processes most people don't think of. So we are doing quantity takeoff. So we use the model to drive our quantities, but engineering quantities don't necessarily equal construction quantities. So we put in the construction cost codes. So we have a breakdown. What it does is it feeds that data to our other partners like HCSS. So we put this information in, and then we actually put it to duration and the equipment and the people. So we know now that this project's $1.4 billion. It's pretty accurate. So with this is a big project. We did all of this in less than 2 months. We actually built the model in 2 weeks. We did the utilities in 3 to 4 days, quantity takeoff in 1 day, and the 4D schedule that's derived from this now. So this is a time determination schedule. So it's a data-driven schedule and duration for that project. So they had it very conceptual, these sections and these chunks. We actually have very accurate data now to actually show the sequencing of the model. So this is common practice for us. The designer, the owner, the subs, most people are not used to seeing this. We're presenting this in a meaningful way. But with this, 6 months ago, I used to work with Mr. Bill McNamara. He and his team at Bentley gave us access to the proof of concept iTwin viewer that has Cesium built into it. And it was a game changer for us. It absolutely changed how we did this. So we got permission to show it to the client. So we took that same project, you'll notice the skyscraper in the background, and we had all that nice model data that's very accurate with utility data. Now the designer on record said, oh, we're not hitting the right-of-way for the railroad, we're not hitting the existing roadways, we can build this. As you can see, we have bridge piers right in between the railway. You don't see that when you're just looking at the traditional imagery from the top view, and even if you go at the side, it's not as good as the Google 3D tiles. So my boss left this up there and let them just dwell on this. So now it's actually changed how in the world they're looking at this. And the comment was, this is what we expected a digital twin to be, because it's simple, it tells a message, tells a story. Now, I want to plug our company a little bit. I've got a couple people in here that we came from Bentley, and a year ago, they had 106 users in Bentley Infrastructure Cloud / SYNCHRO. Now we're over 1,000 because we're implementing this as a standard process. But the thing I'm most proud of is, while we're over 1,000 people in it, 800 are external users. We have 81 organizations outside of ours connecting. So we are now, democratizing this to everybody, making it a common experience. So you see our usage, and as Bill and I were preparing,
some of those biggest users are DOTs, right?
Yeah.
I think 3
I didn't
out of
pay
10
attention
are
to that.
DOTs.
Yeah. 3 out of the top 10, or 4 out of the top 10 are DOTs that are not using it on their own projects, they're using it with us. So this is a big thing. The growth in the last few months, we do contribute to that cesium integration.
So when we set out to do this, when cesium was acquired, we looked at it and said, okay, what do we do with it? And one of the challenges we were having was Bentley historically has always been engineering, and we focus on the design. So we had iModel viewers, and it gave you the ability to do incredible things, clash detection, animations, viewing, schedule, 4D, all that stuff, relative to an individual model. But as the community has evolved, it's become more important to see and understand how things relate to each other, how all the projects come together. Our designers typically work on 6 projects a week, but our system was based on projects. They had to go to each project. Now we have the capacity to look across all of our projects. If we consider a digital twin a container of data, it can be anything from a PDF to Esri GIS data to photos to PDFs and including a model. We now have the ability. We modified the viewer using the cesium technology to become from an iModel viewer to become an iTwin viewer, basically a digital twin viewer. That's what Corey and his team are using, and we partnered with them very early because we wanted to get some real-world examples. But that viewer now, instead of just looking at a model, looks at the entire context of a project and looks at the entire context of multiple projects together, an entire portfolio. So when I have the Philadelphia waterfront, I have 3 separate projects. I can see them all simultaneously. I can see what's been assigned to me. We currently track the project boundaries, the iModels, the photos, the PDF plan sets, because not everybody has a model to start with. We do the reality meshes, all the point clouds, all the reality, all the spatial data, the Gaussian splats that you saw, all of that stuff is in there. We also do water. We're working on bringing the documents in so that we'll actually spatially locate all your documents. The 4D construction schedules will all react to a single timeliner, and we have GIS data in there. That's all layered in on top of the cesium data, as well as the topology and the buildings that come from cesium and the Google layers. What we've been working on in the past week, and that's how new it is the idea of our digital twin is not going to be the sole source of information for everything in the world. We know that. And the idea is, how can we create an industry standard connector, similar to what we do with GIS, to start bringing in other data? So what Corey's going to show you here in a minute is how we are creating a standard connection into our iTwin viewer that's going to allow you to bring in any product that's been created. So imagine all these great cesium things that we've seen developed here today. They are, for the most part, point solutions. I want to consume every one of those. If it's built on cesium, I want to have a way for you to register the cesium data source. If you need credentials, fine, we'll add those. And have that data display here, not as a deep integration between the products, but as a UI integration, so that your data is seen in context. So what he's going to show you next is, after this, what he's going to show you next is what we did with them. Now, I like this graphic because everyone talks about eating the elephant. Some of the biggest projects in the world are infrastructure projects. Corey just said $1.4 billion. The design's going to take an additional 2 years to finish, and then it's going to take 5 years to construct it. So we're looking mid-2030s before that project is even done. And that's one of about 60 projects his company is working on. So these projects are giant elephants. And if we can do anything to bring the data together, to aggregate it, to make it understandable and make it not only relatable to the engineers, but what we're finding is with those 800 organizations, it's making it relatable not only to the engineers, but to the owners, to the consumers, to the individual people. We're even looking at a way to make this so that it can be presented to the public. That's the big push for the DOTs. They want to be able to take these models, put it out for public comment, and have everybody be able to democratize this data. So with that, I'm giving it back to Corey.
All right. So right now, you know, I've been along with Bentley for many years. I love their stuff. What you're seeing here is a project here in Pennsylvania. We have GIS data, we have reality data, we have our PDF plan sets, we have our issues. We have quite a bit of information there. And what's nice about this experience is, like Bill said, we want to look at a programmatic view. I don't want to go into individual projects and go in and out, in and out, in and out to different projects, which isn't bad, but we're starting to see this bigger picture. What's nice is if I click on that PDF, I get this in-app experience and I can mark up the PDF and I have that, which is great. But that's because we're using the Bentley technology. What if we're not? All right, so here's our view, and it seems very subtle, but if you look along the left side, way down the second from the bottom, you'll see headlight data. Now, what we worked on in the last week was getting this integrated in so that we can have that same experience that you just saw with the interactive PDF with an outside company partnering in. So we have with us today, I mean, it was all very quick, but we have Stephen, the Chief Technology Officer from Headlight, up front, if you want to talk with him. He can tell you, I was actually in London on work, so I had him work with Bill and a few others, and it didn't take a lot of time to get this to work, correct? So, but what Headlight does, just to give you some examples, and I'm gonna butcher it because it's way more elegant than what I'm gonna say, but it is an actual daily collection, forms, photographs, but they're collecting a tremendous amount of data in a very elegant way. They're collecting all of the photos with tags, geolocation, very data rich. This is important. Like I showed the constructability review, we want to get that information to the person, have them resolve and get it back. Same within the field, which is what we're going to get with Headlight. So this is some example data from that actual project. So here's what I want. This is what I asked for from Bill 2 weeks ago, and it took another week to get everybody together. But right now, we can see this. This is all within the Bentley project, and I want to be able to flip through the photographs. All right, great. I want to be able to open the photographs and have that very interactive experience in one environment, because that's what our users would really love to have. I can pan around. I got the model-based experience. Headlight doesn't tie to a model at the moment, but we can provide that geospatial context. So I want to be able to actually look at this. So here's our actual project, and it's not as polished as we want because last minute, but we're going to flip over to an actual live project. These are not mock-ups, these are live projects. So we have a model on this project, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on the headlight data. And we don't want to build our own viewer. We don't want to build all of this. We want to be able to leverage commercial off-the-shelf from Bentley. That's our base standard. But for construction, you have to be able to connect and have that information from others. So as you saw there, when I clicked on those items, it tells me the data. Well, we think we'll be able to get that interactive experience and see the form, see the photographs, leverage their search and filtering capabilities, because the data is really what's important. And just for context, one of the projects, it's common, 700,000 photographs. When the project's done, probably 2 million or more. How nice is that, that we don't have to leave and tell a contractor, I got to go to this website for this, that website for that. we can post it here, but when I find an issue, it takes me right into the actual information, and I'm not having to jump all over. So in the end, that's our hope and dream. I love the fact that we got that in, and like Bill said, we're hoping this sets the future. I have about 7 or 8 other softwares that are fantastic point solutions that I would love to be able to surface up here, and we provide this to owners, agencies, subcontractors, contractors. Everybody can come in, and I want our usage to keep growing like we had before.
So what you've seen here is how the Bentley organization is commercializing the cesium technologies. So we just looked at our Infrastructure Cloud product line. That's how we tie everything together. And with the acquisition of cesium, we now have all these tremendous capabilities. There's great developer toolkits out there, but this is an example of how Bentley is using that technology and commercializing it for the masses.
All right.
Anything else?
Nope. Thank you for your time.